welcome back to the YellowCard Vanguard channel. I'm your host, Toku from It's Toku TV on Twitch. Every Monday, I'm streaming Vanguard content, and the past few Mondays we've been brewing up clan collection lists and testing them, so swing on by to be part of the process. In today's segment of Clan Collection Cores, we are featuring support for Dark Irregulars. Bladewing Reijy descends onto the V format in Clan Collection, but it was a very rude awakening when we saw his condition. Bind face down is an unheard of condition in Dark Irregulars, and Reijy is the only one who can do that. Luckily, Dark Irregulars is riddled with a lot of good generic cards that can help us with the soul charge. But is it enough for Reijy to become a viable strategy that's not playing into deleters? Let's take a look together. Our new grade 3 unit is Bladewing Reijy. An act skill, while you have 10 or less soul, you can soul blast 1 to bind 1 card from soul face down. We gain bonus skills for every face down card we have in our bind zone. For when we have 5 or more, we gain a permanent 5k buff. When we have 7 or more, we gain 10k and a drive. And at 10 or more, we gain another 10k and 2 critical. Finally, his last effect is when we have 15 or more in face down bind, we can deal 2 damage on attack. Clearly, they designed Reijy to be a sort of time bomb nuke, where once the player reaches the condition, Reijy should be an auto win button. Should be. Unfortunately, 15 bind means we needed to have soul charge 30 cards throughout the game. And unfortunately in Vanguard, we only have 50 cards, which leaves us with 19 cards to play with before we deck out. Realistically, I think we aim to hit the 7 bind condition on our first turn as Reijy, and 10 on the next turn. And then for the rest of the game, we can just sit on triple drive, triple crit threat until our opponent breaks. The new grade 2 unit is Blaze Foresight. On placement, you can counterblast 1 to put up to 2 triggers from hand into soul and to draw 1 card back for each. Honestly, fairly mediocre. Dark Irregulars has the most beefed up grade 2 lineup when it comes to soul charge, and I don't think Blaze Foresight is good enough to knock any of those out. The new grade 1 introduced is Bestial Squeezer. On rear placement, you can recycle a normal unit from the drop to the bottom of your deck, and then you may soul charge 1. In the drop zone, you can bind her to push a rearguard into soul. Everyone's ears perked up when they heard bind, didn't they? Unfortunately, this is bind face up, and does not increase the speed at which you Reijy at all, except for that rearguard into soul, so you get half progress. Finally, we've got our new grade 3 Heal Guardian. There's 2 trains of thoughts when it comes to Heal Guardians for Reijy. One is we can use the new grade 3 Heal Guardians to ensure we make it to our first grade 3 ride safely. Second is that we can use the 20k Heal Guardians to be tankier while on Reijy to make it to the later stages of the game. With the new cards introduced, let's go check out the list and the philosophy. I'll start with the deck's philosophy here. As stated when I introduced Reijy, I think the goal is to soul charge 14 cards as you ride from 1 to 3, so we can hit our 7 bind threshold for that extra drive and power. On our next turn, we look to get another 6 soul charges to hit our 10 threshold, and stabilize and out-pressure the opponent with our triple drive, triple crit, 32 Vanguard swings. I honestly believe the 15 threshold is a meme and shouldn't be chased after and can cause deck out to become a lose con more frequently. As such, our win con is solely Reijy, and every other card in the deck should be used as soul charge to help facilitate this. We run 4 copies of Bladewing Reijy as our only grade 3 units. We ride and die by Reijy. Starting from the grade 2s, we opt to run high counts of units that help with our soul charge. 4 copies of Emblem Master as selective soul charge 3 from the deck. Assuming we only have the 1 copy, this is a soul charge 3 Emblem Master card. 4 copies of the Demonted Executioner, another on place counterblast 1 to soul charge 3, with a chance to draw us a card back if we soul charge a trigger. We are running 3 copies of Poisonic Abductor to help us find other copies of our soul charger, also being a soul charge 2 in itself, which leads to more soul charge depending on what we superior call. We round off our grade 2 lineup with 3 copies of Phantasma Executor, a 1-for-1 card that nets us another +2 cards in soul when we use this effect. In our grade 1 lineup, we run 4 copies of Yellowboat, a card since its induction has been a staple of Dark Irregulars, getting us a soul charge 2 when rode upon, but also a solo 13k attacker that nets us another soul charge. We have 4 copies of the Dimension Creeper. For counterblast 1 and technically a pseudo soul blast, we get 3 soul charges. All in all, this becomes a counterblast 1 soul charge 2 from within the soul. Now we notice that between the grade 2s and 1s, we have 4 different cards that use counterblast, so we do need some counter charge. 4 copies of Variant's Killer Tail should hopefully provide us the counter charge per turn we need. A cool line of play is that if we have Poisonic Abductor and a Killer Tail in hand, We can use Poisonic skill to discard the Killer Tail, search our deck for 3 Killer Tails, soul 2 of them in, and Superior Call the 3rd. With the 3rd that we Superior Call, we can use its skill to push the copy we discarded into our soul, and now we have 3 Killer Tails and soul for countercharge. In our last 3 slots, we run Werewolf Ketzer, a card that when guarded goes to soul when guarded with, which then nets us soul charge 2 when we bind it out of soul. Effectively, this makes this guard soul charge 2. Between the 29 cards that soul charge for us, we hope that we can hit Reijy's thresholds in turn 1. Our trigger lineup consists of 12 criticals. Reijy's permanent 5k makes the critical sentinels that much more effective of a guard, but also 12 crits on a triple drive check deck is very scary to deal with. For the time being, I've opted to run the grade 3 heal guardians for going first place if we need to damage charge ourselves to enable Demonted, Emblem Master, Poisonic if we weren't able to do so on grade 2. I've opted to not run Draw Trigger Sentinels, most importantly because I fear deck out. Except for Dimension Creeper in our list, we have no ways to refill our deck. All I can really say is I wish we had some of the old effect triggers that went to soul back. I miss Monochrome as well. There are some other options in the generic card pool for Dark Irregulars that help with this Turbo Soul Charge game. Ironheart Assassin acts as an alternative to Variant's Hardleg that provides the same countercharge that the deck needs. However, is on attack phase and not main phase. If we do find that deck out is a very large issue in this deck, we can definitely consider Bestial Squeezer released in this set to help alleviate that. And if we find that getting that singleton copy of Reijy in hand is too hard, we can play copies of Alluring Succubus as a way of soul charging, but also to find a Reijy to keep in hand. In any case, that's all I've really got to say for Reijy and Dark Irregulars on this segment of Clan Collection Cores. I think the realistic thing to know is that until we get more options to bind face down in the deck, Reijy won't be making a splash, I feel. However, I do bring you this idea. Just think about it a bit. Desires is a banish 10 face down and draw 2. 1 card to turn on Reijy's condition? Sign me up. Toku out.